Retrospectives. We had a great retrospective again. Actually wasn't able to be there for the whole thing, but I wanted to tell you about one little part of it. I told you earlier that I had talked with one of my team leads and had to take some people off of his team and move them on to another part of our team. Right? It's one of the Scrum Masters, but we needed to shuffle some people around. You know, it's not the best thing in the world to do. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I did it. And in the end, it worked out okay. But there was some emotional jogs, and if you don't do this in your retrospectives, you should. I don't have a whiteboard pen. Dang. So what you do is you draw a line on your whiteboard, and that line is the duration of the sprint, and you divide it. I use 3-week sprints, and so I divide it into 3 sections, and then you talk with the team and you talk about events that happened during the sprint. So maybe there was a story card got clarified, and my resources were borrowed for this other project, and we completed the proof of concept, and whatever other events there were. Big events, little events. Maybe it was a thunderstorm, or the power went out and we lost productivity, or anything that happened that's memorable, just that helps jog people's memory. That's just there to help them think about the past 3 weeks, because surprisingly 3 weeks is a long time to think back on. And then what you do is you give a pen to every person, or you have them share pens or whatever, but you have them come up to the whiteboard, and above the line is a smiley face, and right on the line is kind of a flat face, and below the line is a little frowny face. And you just have them draw a line of how they felt emotionally, an emotional diagram, emotional timeline. And it's really interesting to see that, and the convergences. The last one that we did, it was amazing. Everyone was really high. It was just, right on the top. The one before that, everyone was really low. And the difference between those two was that we fleshed out the backlog. And I think that had a lot to do with everyone being really high on the list. This one, the lead developer that had the resources borrowed from him was going along okay, and then he dipped way down, and it was very exaggerated all the way to the bottom of the whiteboard. He said, I thought about going onto the wall, and then he bounced it back up again, and it went level again. But I thought that was actually very telling, that it came back up so fast. And we talked about it a little bit, and he said, yeah, that is really important. What happened was he and I immediately that next day sat down and talked about it. We talked about why we were doing that and what needed to happen. And while he didn't necessarily like that it happened, he was on board with it and was emotionally back up at the top again. So if you don't do them, emotional diagrams are a fantastic tool to help people just think back, and to help you as a project leader understand what's going on emotionally with people, with your team, for your morale within a project sprint. So that's it for today.